Well, it's interesting you say that because speaking with some salespeople lately and sales managers in particular, they're finding their sales staff are getting caught up speaking with procurement.
Right.
Very much a price-driven discussion.
Yes.
And a prescribed need discussion. It's not a need creation discussion.
Yes.
It's I'm out there shopping for this.
Yes.
And it's disarming salespeople to be able to sell value in a lot of instances. How can senior salespeople avoid getting caught in that trap?
It's an interesting and ongoing challenge because, as you probably know, Steve, procurement has increased in its power base throughout organisations around the world. Some procurement people are even reporting directly to the top because they're looking to institute savings, and salespeople cop it in terms of margin and even being kicked off preferred supplier panels. So in the last couple of years, I've personally worked with the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply to have a look at their mindset of what they're doing. And most recently, I've worked with Paul Rogers. Now, Paul Rogers is, I think, Australia's leading procurement coach. I coach the sales side to win deals. Paul coaches the procurement side and how they can get better value. And together we've come together. We come together live in the cage.
Enemies come together, okay.
Amazing.
Great.
So Paul's great at sharing those insights, and we put together a series of podcasts which will be announced very shortly on how to navigate this. But if I can just give you a couple of the key points that Paul and I discuss in our podcasts, it would be, number one, you have to understand what Paul calls Peter Price or Valerie value.
Okay.
So are you dealing with a price guy or are you dealing with someone who understands value? And you've got to know that from the very beginning when you engage with that client. If you're dealing with Peter Price, you've got two choices. You either commoditise yourself, come up with a better price and live or die by that, or you go above them. You go around them and you do it quickly and you do it often. And a lot of people are squeamish about this. You know, I've been told the rules, the probity, I can't go around them. It says in the document you will be not considered for this bid if you do that. Well, if you decide to deal with Peter Price, who doesn't understand the bigger picture, doesn't understand what's going on in terms of the overall value you can bring, you'll get stuck and go to the lowest common denominator when it comes to price. That's your option. If you're dealing with Valerie value, you've got the option then of being able to discuss a wider range of solutions for that business. And they're the choices that I'm asking sales managers to consider for their teams.
Let's say Valerie value. Okay, you've got a procurement person that understands value, so you're in the right place there.
Right.
But you're selling a solution where the need hasn't been identified yet.
Right.
It's not going to solve Valerie's problems.
Right.
It's going to solve the CEO's problems. It's going to solve a CIO's problems. And here you are talking to Valerie. She understands value, but she's not been asked to go out and shop for your solution.
Why are we talking to Valerie then?
That's the problem some of these sales people...
So stop it or go blind.
So how... Good work. So how do salespeople get around procurement?
Go and talk to the person that is most impacted by your solution. If it's the head engineer, go to there. If it's the head of finance, if it's the head of operations, if it's the CEO, if it's the head of marketing, the regional director for transport, whoever it is, go and talk to the person that is actively measured by the return on what it is that you're selling.
Yep.
The next question that comes up is, well, how do I get there? And there are myriad ways that have been spoken about, but you've got to find a way to get there. Social media is one way. Picking up the phone and talking to someone in that role.
I mean, the phone still works.
It does if you've got something that is specific to that person's job and that person's remit.
Yeah.
So don't ring up and say, hi, we've met before. Hi, we sell widgets. Would you like to have a chat? You need to start with a piece of evidence. Say, hi, we've just implemented 2 of these in similar companies to yours. They're roughly returning 15% ROI improvement. And I thought you might like to have a look at what we've been doing in your space, in your industry, and see if you'd like to have a chat about how it impacts you.
Okay. So it seems to me that you're saying a lot's changed in sales.
Yeah.
One of those changes is the uprising and the power of procurement.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an obstacle to get around, as opposed to the decision makers that have always made the decisions are still making the decisions. You need to go to that higher level, but you need to understand how to navigate procurement, because I could imagine a lot of the time going around procurement, you spoke about salespeople breaking the rules of procurement or the rules of the organisation. How have you noticed salespeople going above their head and then coming back down to procurement and finding that, okay, well, I've gotten on the wrong side of procurement now, and here I am needing to negotiate with them, and I'm being taken out of the process due to that?
It depends if you're there to win business or friends.
Okay.
There are going to be some people that get their noses out of joint in procurement because you've sold your particular solution of value to the CFO and the head of marketing, for example. And they're going to grumble around the office. I can't believe it. I didn't go to tender properly. I could have got them a better price. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Well, is he going to come to your Christmas party? No. Is he going to name his first child after you? No. But when you walk out with $2 million and the company that implemented it gets the returns that you said they would from your value proposition, who cares? What's going to happen? Now,
so what you're saying is they don't have as much power as to be able to veto a decision that the CFO is saying,
correct.
I want you to be speaking with Elliot. Yeah, sure.
Now, we're talking about, commercial solutions here. We're not talking about selling bags of nails and bags of cement.
Not commoditised solutions.
Sure. But we're talking about in IT, financial services, superannuation, financial products, whatever it might be, has a major impact on the performance of the clients.
Yeah.
I think there's too much squeamishness about, even forget procurement, even if I'm dealing with the IT manager, for example, there's too much squeamishness about, I can't go above him because he's my friend. He gives me an order every month.
Sure.
And he comes to all our breakfast seminars. And he says nice things about me. In fact, he even told my boss last week, what a good job I'm doing. Yes, because he doesn't want you going anywhere else. So unless we're prepared to go broader in this organisation, then we're going to be stuck. And to go back to the original point, we're going to be stuck selling the same way we always have.